Thank you for listening to this episode of Christian Car Guy Theater. We are so honored that you would spend time with us. My name is Ann Alt, and I'm one of the actors on the Christian Car Guy Theater team, and you can find out all about us on this Christian Car Guy website, christiancarguy.com. We get to play all sorts of fun characters, humans and car parts. And as Miss Annie would say, many people use this pre-roll time to ask for money, but we want to ask you for something we feel is much more valuable. We ask for your prayers. And as Tammy Tensioner would say, we need stories where Jesus is clearly the hero of the story. You see what I mean? Hey, Bert Rosenberg, what would Mosey Motor Oil say?
Well, thanks for asking, Ann. My friend Mosey Motor Oil, and he is my friend. He's the first friend I've ever had that is actually motor oil. And Mosey Motor Oil would say, "Yo, friends, hey, look here, listen to me. I know what I'm talking about. Prayer keeps things from getting stuck. Yeah, kind of like oil. That's what oil does, ain't that right? Yeah. So you know what I'm saying is right. And everybody needs fresh oil. So please remember us in your prayer." Well, thank you, Mosey. Say, Ellen Kennedy, what would Gracie Gas Tank say?
Gracie Gas Tank would say,
"You have started to fill our tank by just listening today. We are so excited to share our stories with you. So please pray that God would get us the sponsors and radio stations to share it with many more who may never have come to know Jesus."
Now sit back and enjoy this episode of Christian Car Guy Theater.
And now time for Christian Car Guy Theater with today's episode, Jailhouse Justice, Part 4. Previously on Jailhouse Justice, Bad Brad had escaped from jail, aided by the nefarious Ned who works for the nasty Noir. Brad is desperate to kidnap Allie once again because the Noir, a maniacal mobster crime boss, has kidnapped Brad's daughter Christy, all to make sure that Brad will bring Allie back in. Deputy Eustace was approaching the stolen dish van as Brad is hoping to use Allie's little dog Fritz to recapture Allie. Eustace gets on the radio.
Beaver County Sheriff's Office, Georgina. You got a copy?
10-4 Eustace, what's up?
Georgina, is there any state police available for backup? I spotted that stolen Dish TV van, and before I approached it, I was wondering if the state police are in the area.
Afraid not, Eustace. They're all out looking for a missing hiker on Long's Peak.
Well, no time to waste, Georgina. I'm approaching the van now. What is that?
Eustace is so shocked he almost drops his gun. His jaw drops in utter disbelief. As his eyes focus through the tinted glass into the back of the van, he sees an unconscious Brad and Fritzy, the little dachshund, licking his face.
Well, what in the world? So, I imagine escaping from a hospital when you have third-degree burns might not be the brightest move there, tough guy. The hatch isn't even locked. Well, I'd better cuff him before I call for an ambulance. Oh, here, come here, little guy. Let's go call for some help for this would-be bandito. Georgina, you ain't gonna believe this. Well, I just walked right up to the van and he was in there out in cold, and I just went in and cuffed him without a struggle. It was a walk in the park.
Meanwhile, under the hood of Jimmy's Jeep, the car parts are congratulating themselves on their previous assault on Bad Brad.
Hey, that fuel firewall on Bad Brad is the gift that keeps right on giving. Ain't that right, Frenchy Fender?
Mais oui, Monsieur Mosey Motor Oil. You are so right. Monsieur Bad Brad is like the French fry, extra crispy.
Well done, if I do say so myself. Ha ha ha.
Guido Gasket, Frenchy Fender, Mosey Motor Oil. While you three are congratulating yourselves, consider what old Prayer has done through this foolishness.
Gracie Gas Tank, now I know why you're so cool. You wear sunglasses, and that is sun, as in S-O-N. You see Jesus everywhere. You saw right through our vainglory.
Hey, good one. That's a good one, Wally Windshield Wiper. You came up with a good one that time. Yeah, sorry for the slip up, though, Gracie.
A few minutes later at the church.
That's wonderful news. Thank you for letting us know, Eustace. Everyone, Brad has been apprehended and is currently back under guard at the hospital. He had a stolen van and a little dachshund was in it named Fritz. Isn't that your dog, Bonnie?
Yes, I had just let him out. He must have dog-napped Fritz. But why?
I'm guessing he wanted to use Fritz to trap Allie.
How low will that guy go? Fritzy? Really? My little Fritzy?
Just think, Allie, you wanted to go visit Brad and tell him you forgave him. Just a few hours ago, you wanted to do that.
I still do, I think. Jimmy, isn't that what we're supposed to do? Like Jesus did for us? But I can't do it today. I need to process all this.
I'm heading over to the hospital now. I'd like to have a talk with Brad myself. I'll see if I can soften the ground a bit before you speak with him, Allie. I can get an idea how you will be received before you lay it out there. I really think this could be kingdom-advancing stuff, but let's all be in prayer for the Holy Spirit to soften Brad's heart first.
Awesome.
Thank you, Pastor Jack. That makes sense. And I can sure ask Jesus to help you with that.
Bob and Bonnie, Eustace told me he has your dog at the jail.
Grandpa, I want to go too. Fritzy could be traumatized.
Well, that's a bit of a stretch, but come to think of it, Fritzy has always been a long little doggy.
That was punishing, Bob. But when it comes to drama, Fritzy is an Oscar wiener.
Oh, brother. Who got these two started? Can we go?
Bad Brad's capture hasn't escaped the Noir's notice as he meets with his Lieutenant Lou in their underground bunker deep underneath the Del Sori Corporation's fine-fit auto parts plant.
Well, well, well. I guess you can't leave a boy to do a man's job. I'm thinking Brad will be cooling his heels behind bars for a while now. Besides, I have a better idea for this Beaver County anyways. I've been looking at real estate prices and tax rates there, and I believe I found the perfect location for Del Sori's next fine-fit auto parts manufacturing plant. Check this map right here, next to a place called Nahum's Garage.
Oh, hey, that's a great idea, boss, but hey, what do we do with that Irish chick you got stashed there?
Now, you listen to me, and listen good. Go back and tell her that poor daddy's behind bars, so she has to go for a little ride. Leave the back door unlocked, so she jumps out at the first light. Then run after her, but don't catch her. No, she'll head straight to the cops, thinking she can identify us. This is where it gets good. Poor little Brad will have to see pain and sadness in his daughter's face as they lock him up. Plus, she'll be there to see the whole pitiful person her dad is, and those lengths that we went through to disguise ourselves as Angelo Bellotti and his first lieutenant Vinny. We're brilliant, if I do say so myself. And I do. That'll keep both the cops and that pipsqueak Angelo nipping at each other's heels for weeks.
Yeah, and we even paid for her room with Vinny's credit card.
Another stroke of genius. I'm too brilliant for words, you know what I mean?
Meanwhile, Pastor Jack is heading to see Bad Brad, and he walks past the two Colorado Highway Patrol officers watching him.
Hello, Brad. I'm Pastor Jack from the church here in Beaver County.
Listen, preacher, I don't need you to preach at me today. I'm in enough trouble.
It's not like that, Brad. I just came over to tell you that even though you'll probably have to face prison for kidnapping, Allie is prepared to forgive you.
Ha! That's a joke. I'm sure that's the Christian thing, Pastor. But really, you self-righteous church folk make me sick. Look, I'm in a hospital, comprende?
Brad, what if I told you I too need forgiveness beyond anything you could ever imagine?
What would you have to be forgiven for?
Would you believe murder and adultery, just for starters? You have no idea how badly I need God to forgive me, Brad.
Pastor, I have trouble you know nothing about. Right this minute, I have worse problems than worrying about what God thinks about me.
Why don't you tell me what it is, Brad? Nothing is too hard for God.
5 minutes later, Pastor Jack comes running into Eustace's office.
Eustace, you have to act quickly. The lives of 2 girls are at stake.
Tune in next month for another episode of Jailhouse Justice. And now, here's Danny Dipstick and Randy Radiator to review today's episode.
Randy, things started out great this time. But poor Christy from Ireland, her trouble is Dublin.
Oh, brother, Dublin. I get it, Daddy boy. But Christy sure has faith, and so does Allie now. And Pastor Jack, in spite of witnessing to Brad, and in spite of all this trouble, knows that faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. So even if Christy gets tossed out of her car, loses her way, still her faith eyesight, her vision, seems to be 20/20.
Like I can see right now, Randy. I see a vision. A vision of an Irish cubic zirconium. Yes, I believe it. Yeah, it's a shamrock.
Oh, I get it. A zirconium, which is a fake diamond, which is a sham rock. Oh, that's a good one, Daddy. I mean, it's punny. It might not be funny, but it sure is punny. Oh, top of the morning, Daddy boy. Say goodbye.
See you later, Radiator.